I just got back from shooting a music video together with a Swedish metal band called Dead by April, and we had a blast. It was 2 days of pure fun, intense work, and way too little sleep. But we definitely created something epic, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Some of you probably have seen some teasers over on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, then I welcome you to join in, because who doesn't want to have a little bit more of Peter in their lives, va? But as I was shooting this music video, it also got me thinking a whole lot on how I ended up where I am today and how surreal it is. Because when I dropped out of school, I never thought that I would be able to become something, you know? I had people telling me that if I didn't study, I wouldn't be able to get a job, and if I didn't do this, I would never achieve anything that would be above something else. And it was just so much demotivational stuff when I was a teenager. But I remember when I got my first job as a forklift driver in a hardware store, and the feeling that I had back then was that I was really proud of this, because I achieved something that people did not believe that I would be able to achieve. I got a job, even though I didn't have any education. And when I started this YouTube channel, I had the same kind of doubts that I had back then. If I should do things in English, and what people thought about me, and why should I record myself talking to the camera, because it kind of feels weird, you know. There were so many things that just echoed into my head and said, like, don't do it, you're never gonna get anywhere. And I never really had the ambition of becoming a YouTuber or live from this full time. It was kind of like a dream up here that I just hoped would be something that could turn into reality in the future. And the fun thing is that I never really meant this studio space to become a YouTube studio, because this is something that just happened at the same time as the channel grew. But I remember when I first started to post a couple of videos when I was working on DHL, and how people always said, like, are you really going to make YouTube videos? Are you really going to record yourself walking out of the office at 1 o'clock midday? But even so, I decided to stick to it, and I decided to make videos with all the spare time that I had, because for me it was not only about posting videos onto YouTube, it was about learning a new skill and daring to go away from the bodybuilding aspect of my life and invest that time into something else that I hopefully could become good at. And I remember when I told my dad that I wanted to build this studio space, and he said, absolutely not. There's no way that we're gonna spend like $2,000-3,000 into building something that you're only gonna use for 2 years. But then I told him that if my company with apparel is going well, then I'm gonna pay you a rent, and I can utilize this space to take all the product photos and do all of those things, and you're gonna make money from me being there. And he was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. And since he's the owner of the building, he decided to invest in all the material that was required to build a space. And I was like, yes, I can finally build this place. But on the one condition, he said, and that is that you do everything, because I'm not gonna pay anyone to build anything. Then I started Googling, reading up a whole lot on how to build walls and floors, because I had no clue. Like, I literally did not know anything about construction before I built this space. But when I want to learn something, when I think something is fun, then I can study for an eternity, if that is what it takes for me to know how something is done, or what I can do with the things that I want to learn. You know, it's so much passion that comes into play when I find something that is fun. And I think that that is kind of the same thing that happened with the cameras, because as soon as I picked up a camera, I started to feel this lack of knowledge. You know, I saw the ISO, I saw the shutter, I saw the aperture, and I was like, what the hell do they do? And how can I change them so that my image look better? What is it that I have to adjust to be able to achieve this result? And that kind of spurred me to learn as much as I possibly could on how to use a camera. And posting YouTube videos was a great way to become better at using the camera. And it was kind of funny because As soon as I was done building this room with just the drywalls, the flooring, I also realized that I couldn't run my apparel business on the side and at the same time work full-time on DHL. So I had to do the choice where I decided to write off all the apparel that I had left and take the loss and then go work full-time on DHL. And when I started working full-time, I also stopped making the vlogs the same way that I've been doing before, mainly because the full-time work takes up such an immense amount of time and energy that you don't have anything left for when you're off work. But even though I decided to take the loss off my company, I still had gained an incredible amount of knowledge from using the camera to take all the product photos that was needed to be able to sell my products. And when my YouTube channel took off at the end of 2019, I moved back in here to the place that I built and turned this into what it is today. And to be completely honest, I don't think that I will ever finish up this space because I always find something to do here. But I mean, like, what would a Peter Lindgren channel be without all the build out videos that I got going on here in the office? And now that I've been doing this as my full-time job for a little bit more than 1.5 years, there has been so many opportunities coming my way that I could have never imagined. So if I can go from dropping out of school, having absolutely no education at all, to now having a full-fledged video production company where I make music videos for one of Sweden's biggest metal band, why shouldn't you be able to do that as well?